Senators today pushed for answers from two of the senior officials who were on that unsecure Signal group chat about military plans in Yemen. The CIA Director, John Ratcliffe, and the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, both swore under oath as they tried to downplay the story.
And I was not discussing classified information in this setting.
There was no classified material that was shared.
There was no classified information.
There was no classified information.
Now, those are two people who are the most responsible in the federal government for keeping the nation's secrets, and at times were fuzzy on the details.
I don't remember mention of specific targets. I don't recall specific weapons systems being named. I don't recall specific timing.
Any mention of any military unit whatsoever? Mr. Ratcliffe?
Not that I recall.
Ms. Gabbard?
Not that I recall.
In that setting, I don't recall. As you
don't recall seeing that?
Read that, I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
When pressed further for specifics, Director Gabbard returned to this talking point.
According to open source reporting at 11:44 on the morning of March 15th, Secretary Hegseth put into this group text a detailed operation plan, including targets, the weapons we were going to be using, attack sequences, and timing. And yet you've testified that nothing in that chain was classified. Wouldn't that be classified? What if that had been made public that morning before the attack took place?
Senator, I can attest to the fact that there were no classified or intelligence equities that were included in that chat group.
My source tonight, you just heard from there, an independent senator from Maine, Senator Angus King, and thank you so much for being here. You seemed quite skeptical of the argument about this discussion not being classified, what they were talking about. If imminent military strikes aren't classified, Senator, what is?
Well, that was exactly the question I asked. I mean, you heard the question. According to Jeffrey Goldberg, and he quite responsibly didn't report the details, but he said that Hegseth's text talked about the timing, the weapons, the targets, the sequencing. And as you say, if that isn't classified, I don't know what is. And I don't understand the witnesses today saying that it wasn't classified. And of course, I followed up by saying, well, if it wasn't classified, then give us the whole text chain. Because if it isn't classified, let's see it here at the committee. And of course, there were no takers on that offer. And Kaitlan, you know, people talking about this being a mistake, that seems to be the word of the day to defense. Well, it was a mistake. Well, you and I have probably, you know, texted to the wrong person by mistake, or perhaps joined a group that it wasn't the right one that we thought. But you're not the Director of National Intelligence, and I'm not the Secretary of Defense. These are the top national security officials in the country, and they were on a text chain that the Pentagon themselves, ironically, had said don't use for this kind of purpose. And they were discussing national security affairs. And it doesn't pass the straight face test that somehow none of this was classified. We're going to find that out. And we'll find out, I believe, reasonably shortly, what was in that text chain, because the administration can't now say, well, we can't tell you because it's state secrets or it's classified, because their Director of National Intelligence said about 10 times that it isn't classified. It was a very frustrating hearing.
Well, and the president himself said that today. I mean, how do you plan to get your hands on the rest of those messages then?
Well, that's the job of our committee, with the Select Committee on Intelligence. Our job is to investigate matters like this. We had a lot of discussion of it today. There was a closed session later on in the morning. And certainly I hope that Chairman Cotton is going to follow up on this, because this was really a serious breach. This wasn't just a casual mistake. This wasn't a bunch of teenagers deciding what they were going to do on the weekend. This was the highest level discussion about a military attack on another country. And they should have been more careful about it. They were using an app that is encrypted but not secure. And it came out today that one of the people on the chat during the time it was all going on was in Moscow. You don't think the Russians are after our phones if you're in Moscow? What phone were they using? And one of the senators asked Tulsi Gabbard what phone she was using. Was it her personal phone, a government phone? She wouldn't answer the question. Come on. I mean, let's just have a little, we hear a lot about transparency. We're getting zero transparency on this matter.
Do you think her not answering that question kind of answers which one it was?
Well, it did for me. If it had been a government official phone, a secure phone, I would assume she would have said so. And I think it's a real problem. And again, these aren't supposed to be amateurs. These are the highest level national security people that we have. And to not even check, Jeffrey Goldberg's initials were on the list. And for the National Security Advisor or some staff member to not go down the list of see who's on this chat, oh, there's a couple of initials we don't recognize, we better check this out. I mean, it was you know, it would be funny if it weren't so damn serious because it was so inept and incompetent. And again, the reason it's serious is these were national security matters. Had Jeffrey Goldberg been less responsible and broken the story that day, it could have compromised American lives.
Yeah, and I should note that Mike Waltz said just a few moments ago that it wasn't a staffer who added Jeffrey Goldberg to that text, that somehow it was him. He said he took full responsibility. But, Senator, I do want you to listen between how Republicans on Capitol Hill have been talking about this and how they're describing it compared to how the CIA director described it today.
Mistakes were made, no question.
Well, it's a mistake. You know, we make mistakes.
It was a mistake, and they'll tighten up and make sure it doesn't happen again.
It's a mistake that's been corrected right now.
This was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
Senator, how is the administration's refusal to even acknowledge or call it a mistake, which the president also later would not call it that, how is that sitting with your colleagues up on the Hill, especially the Republican ones?
Well, privately, I think that my Republican colleagues are pretty upset. I guess the term would be eye-rolling. To characterize it as a mistake is, you know, that's too easy. You don't make mistakes on this level. Of course, you do make mistakes, but these are the, I keep saying this, these are the top national security officials in the entire country. They were having a group chat on an app, on a publicly available app that can be compromised. We know that. And in fact, as I mentioned, the Pentagon, ironically, after the leak but before the story broke, issued a memo throughout the Pentagon saying, don't use Signal for this kind of discussion. And it was a serious problem. Now, what the administration is going to do, I wish they had come into the hearing today and acknowledged that this was a serious breach. It was something that's going to be looked into. They're going to review it. They're going to see that it never happens again. But instead, there's all this circling of the wagons and, well, just saying it's a mistake, it'll blow over, don't worry about it. We've got to worry about it because what does this tell us about the competence of this group in general, making the most important and consequential decisions that a country can possibly make?
Senator Angus King, let us know if the chairman of your committee pushes for those messages. Thank you for your time tonight.
Indeed. Great to be with you, Kaitlan.